and joining us. Thank you to the family for coming in. This is going to be a very special occasion. And it's interesting how things happen. So, start of the year, Mr. Swinford sent me an email from Janet Perez, who used to teach here. And she said, hey, American Legion's trying to get a database of all the veterans memorials that they can. So, because Southside is so special, can we get these recorded? So, we started going down that avenue, and we are now here. And so, I never knew Mr. Holmes, but I think talking to Susan and Renee, his legacy, that's what you want. That's what you want from a career in the Marines. That's what you want from a career in teaching, to leave a legacy. And so that's special. So I'm going to disappear for a few minutes, but Renee's going to come up.
Renee's going to try to not have a heart attack because Ron gave blue book tests. The students will know. Yeah, there were heads bobbing all over the place. And I was talking to Joyce, and I said, oh my gosh, I've got to keep all the family names straight and who begat whom. So I think I've got this, and Ron, this blue book is for you. Okay, so we have Terry Holmes, and we have his sister, Joyce. Then we have Michelle could not be here, and her children are here. That's Nisi. And let's see, Maya is actually your daughter, right? Okay, let's see. And then Trey is also one of Michelle's son, well, her one son, two sons, right?
Two sons.
But you're the one that could be here. Oh, Ron, I gotta be minus. Okay. And then Jessica is Trey's wife. I gotta be minus, okay. We are so glad that they are here, but something kept pulsating in my mind. Southside has always been family. That has always been true. And Ron has been an integral part of that. He and I started here together, and we played with that a lot over the years because the kids would be very confused. Like, how could you have started together? I knew him through college. I knew him through here, heard of him through Concordia. And one thing that I can tell you is that he was a very good daddy image here at Southside and pretty much everywhere he went. Kids wanted so much to impress him, and his opinion mattered more than anything else, to the extent where when he chased one of his honors classes out, they ran, running for cover. And Mrs. Thomas and I have very fond memories of kids running into our classroom, but his opinion was everything to his students and to the staff, I think, too. He was our brother, he was our mentor, and we will miss him until we stop teaching. So thank you so much for being here, and this is very much for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I should probably say who's coming up next. That would be Mrs. Thomas, and boy, does she have a lot of things to share. I'm going to try to be brief.
First of all, I'd like to get extra credit for myself because I've not cried yet today. I don't make any promises to make it through the end of the ceremony, but so far I'm good. Yes, Mr. Holmes was one of the first teachers I met when I got to South over 20 years ago. And he became a mentor originally, and then more importantly, he became my friend. And that friendship meant so much to me. Before I really get started, though, I want to publicly thank Mr. Baker. I don't know where he went off to. Today would not have happened without him. And I think it is so fitting. All of these memorials started with a conversation between Mr. Holmes and his students. And today started with Mr. Holmes and Mr. Baker, and I'm not nervous at all. Conversation with Mr. Baker and his students. So thanks, Mr. Baker, for all of this coming true. Yes, I have many memories of Mr. Holmes. I remember the day we would call the students refugees as they were running into our rooms trying to save themselves from Mr. Holmes, who was chasing them out of the room. And he was just an inspiration to us. He also adversely affected my children. I have a story I'd like to share with you. We were in line many, many years ago when my kids were little waiting to see Santa Claus. And we were at Glenbrook, and Mr. Holmes walked up, and my kids were so excited to see Mr. Holmes. Yay! And I was excited too until he started talking. And he told me that what my kids needed to ask for was a live snake for Christmas. And my son started jumping up and down. Yes, we're going to get snakes for Christmas. Santa's going to bring us snakes. And then he just walked away with a smile on his face and leaving me for for the rest of the time we were in line to explain there were no snakes in the North Pole. They could not ask Santa for snakes. But yes, he did. He tried to get me kicked out of a basketball game once for literally standing there just because he thought it was funny. So yes, he was a great person. But I will leave all those humorous stories behind. My main reason for standing here today, however, is much more serious. You see the plaque. The plaque will be hanging here at Southside forever. But Mr. Swinford has declared today, the 11th day of November 2020, recognized as the Ron Holmes Day. In the history of Southside High School, there have been many educators, but few have made an impact that Ron Holmes has. There's more on here for you to read, but I want to summarize it by saying we are here today to honor one of our legends. We've been around almost 100 years now, and we have some legends, and Mr. Holmes has always been on that list, but now it's official. He is definitely one of our legends, and we have this for you to take with you today. Yes. Instead of me reading the and we are very lucky. We have, what do we count, 5? At least 5 alumni are now teaching in the building that had Mr. Holmes as a teacher. So instead of hearing us old people ramble on, I'd like to introduce Ms. Katie Shepard, who is now a ELL teacher, and her brother Thomas Shepard, who's in our science department.
Thank you. I'm really happy I get to be here. I was part of one of Mr. Holmes' final classes for Key Club, and I got to be a president with him in his last few years. And one of the things that I remember is he always instilled the value of service in us. And as president that last year, it was obviously very different not being there with him, and we had the breast cancer walk in his honor, but we knew there was something more we had to do. We had to include him. And so we made arrangements with Cookie and got to go over and do some service for him because of all the service he had done for us. And that always meant a lot. And from just stories that I collected from my friends and other Southside students, there were a couple things that came up frequently. Always the jazz that was going on in the room whenever you walked in, no matter what time of day or what day of the year. There was always some beautiful music playing. It was those blue books that Renee got to talk about, and the value of preparedness that he instilled in all of his students and anyone who worked with him through Key Club or National Honor Society. It was the value of a handshake. He did not accept wet, sloppy handshakes, and he taught everybody how to give a good one. And many people commented that whenever they give professional handshakes today, they still think of him. And he also really just instilled the love and care for his students. I got a couple of generational responses, and all of them from aunts and their children, or moms and their children, or dads just talking about how they knew that they were loved and cared for. While he was tough, that was never a question. He ran a tight ship, but they always felt his love in the end of the day. So I just want to share.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you once again, everybody, for coming to this. Although I didn't have much of a hand in planning it, it is a true honor to be here and have the opportunity to speak on his behalf. So much like my sister, I reached out to the people around me that also had Mr. Holmes as a teacher. And I got a real mixed bag of replies. And I don't mean bad and good, I just mean funny and kind of more serious notes. So I thought I'd share some of the lighter notes first, and then we kind of get to more of the nitty gritty. So Mr. Holmes was always one for helping out the community and bettering everything around us. I think everybody here is well aware of that. And one of my friends was trying to do a fundraiser for, I don't remember, probably speech and debate. And he asked Mr. Holmes, hey, would you like to donate $1 for speech and debate team? And he gets his billfold out, and he, I only carry big bills. So then he put it back in his pocket. And he was joking. He turned around and gave him the money for the fundraiser right away. So I just thought that was funny. And one of his parting gifts for all of the seniors that would graduate from the National Honor Society or Key Club board, he'd get us an alarm clock to make sure that we were all on time. His timeliness was something important to him. And he'd get us a Scentsy because I think he thought we all smelled. And then he also got me a book that said what to do now that mom is gone, because I was heading off to college. I was like, Mr. Holmes, I already take care of these things, but thank you. It felt really nice to know that he was thinking about where I was heading to and how I was going to get through that. Some of the more impactful things, I think, on a more somber note, yesterday we had the opportunity, the family brought in some cake for the Marine Corps birthday. And that's something that he did every single year with us. And he would always cut the pieces, and then he would hand that piece to the youngest person in the class. So it was the oldest person handing it off to the youngest person, kind of signifying that handing of experience and knowledge to the next generation. And that's something that he did every single day when he walked in the building. Right? He was always trying to help us out and help us understand what challenges were going to come to us and make sure that we were prepared for those challenges. So he did a lot for us in that regard. And I'm talking a bunch, but it's just, there's so much to say about the guy. I just have two more things though. So the first thing was his IB classes always did an essay on apathy and indifference every single year. And if you just think about it kind of lightly, apathy and indifference, fairly easy to talk about, right? Oh, we should try and make a change in the world. If you see something wrong, fix it. But he pushed us and pressed us on that, because it's very easy to say that. It's very different to actually go and do it. And his representation of that through Key Club and National Honor Society is still felt, after he is gone in those clubs today. And the last thing I'll leave you with is a question that he used to ask us that I brought home to my family and talked about. My sister even, I was telling her I was going to speak about it today, and she said that she can remember me talking about it as a 10th grader. So this is quite some time ago. So you're in a car at night, and you pull up to a red light. You can see for miles down the road in each direction. What do you do? Thank you. I don't know who's coming next, so I couldn't introduce anybody.
Good morning, everybody. So, first thing I'd like to say is I'm definitely very honored to be here. I appreciate it, Mr. Baker, for you allowing me the opportunity to speak on this Marine's behalf. Right. So, hearing all the stories and everything of the person that he was, and I think it's amazing. Everything that, even before I came up here, and just talking to some of the people who came in here just for this day, it's amazing to hear those stories and the impact that he actually had on all of you, right? So, being a Marine, it's a challenge, right? There's only 1% of the world that actually become Marines. It's not an easy task. And for this Marine to have been in service for as long as he has been, that is amazing. He was actually able to pave the way for me and where I am today. And that is something that I definitely 100% appreciate. So again, I'm very honored to be here. My condolences to you. There's not much that I could say besides from the day that he decided to step on the yellow footprints to the day that to the last day that he taught here, it definitely did a lot for the community and everywhere that he stood. To to know that he was able to live that long life and be able to still make that impact and pave that way for us, it's still amazing that he was able to have that. So again, I appreciate you guys letting me be here, and it's an honor. Last thing I have to say is once a Marine, always a Marine, and Semper Fi.